Picture this: a worker with 20 years of experience, a flawless record, and a reputation as the best on the crew skips a simple lockout/tagout step and triggers a catastrophic near miss. Why? It's not a lack of training. It's not a lack of skill. Today, we're looking at the psychology of safety and why your most experienced workers are often your biggest risk. I'll show you the 3 hidden psychological traps that catch even the best safety professionals and exactly how to fix them. It's kind of the ultimate paradox in our industry, isn't it? As site supervisors, we're taught from day one that experience and skill are our absolute best defenses against accidents. We naturally assume that the longer someone's been turning a wrench, the safer they're going to be. But when we peel back the layers and look at human factors in safety, the data tells a completely different, almost backwards story. Sometimes that massive amount of experience is the exact thing causing the incident. We're dealing with human psychology here, and man, experience is a double-edged sword. Okay, let's dive into this and look at the real difference between a novice and a veteran. Think about a brand new apprentice stepping onto the site for their very first day. They've got a pure novice mindset. Sure, their skill is practically zero, but their caution, it is off the charts. They're hyper-aware of every single forklift beeping, every loud bang, every unguarded edge. Their brain is just firing on all cylinders, convinced there's danger everywhere. But over time, as they master their trade, that intense fear starts to fade. They settle into a veteran mindset. Their skill goes through the roof, but their caution absolutely plummets. Complacency sets in, and you know as well as I do, that's exactly where the danger hides. Section 1. Normalizing rule breaking. Let's see how this first trap gets set. This whole drift is driven by a psychological concept called the normalization of deviance. It was originally coined by sociologist Diane Vaughan. What's really interesting about this slide is how it defines that gradual, almost invisible process of accepting unsafe behaviors as completely standard practice, mostly just because nothing blew up the last time you did it. The risks literally hide in plain sight once we adapt to them. Think about it. If a highly skilled guy bypasses a machine guard, gets the job done faster, and doesn't lose a finger, his brain subconsciously logs a new rule. The brain says, hey, that guard wasn't actually necessary. The deviation just became the new normal. So how does this incremental drift actually play out on the floor? Well, it always starts as an exception, just a minor one-time shortcut because, there's a crazy time crunch. But then, because nobody got hurt, that shortcut quietly turns into a habit. Before you know it, that exact shortcut is just how we do things around here. It's the standard. Diane Vaughan actually studied this exact phenomenon during the NASA Challenger disaster. The engineers slowly accepted minor damage to the O-rings because, hey, the previous flights made it back fine. The exception became the norm, right up until it caused a catastrophic failure. And I promise you, that exact same psychological drift is happening on our work sites every single day. Moving on to Section 2, the expert optimism trap. Now, I know this is a tough pill to swallow, but it's a reality that foremen are fighting every single day. Experience and skill can genuinely have a negative impact on risk-taking. Your most seasoned crews, they often subconsciously believe they are totally above the rules. Because they've done a highly dangerous task 1,000 times without a scratch, they genuinely, truly believe their expertise gives them a free pass to bend the protocols that we force on the rookies. There are 2 sneaky cognitive biases messing with their heads here. First up is optimism bias. It's that quiet, stubborn belief whispering, yeah, accidents happen, but it won't happen to me. They know the hazards are real, they just overestimate their own superhero ability to dodge them. The second bias is risk habituation. When a worker is around high voltage lines or 50 feet in the air day in and day out for years, the brain physically desensitizes to the threat. They hit a state of unconscious competence. They're basically flying on autopilot, and their brain's internal alarm system gets completely muted. It's risk blindness, plain and simple. That brings us to Section 3, production over safety. Let's just be brutally honest here for a second. On every industrial site on the planet, there is a massive, ongoing war between production pressure and safety protocol. Unrealistic deadlines, tight budgets, crew shortages, and just a crazy high operational tempo. It puts our workers in a position where they have to make split-second choices between doing it safe and doing it fast. And when a project manager is breathing down their neck to finish up, yeah, the safety mindset is usually the very first thing thrown out the window. This kind of pressure gets baked right into a site's culture. We end up with what's called the hidden curriculum. That's where the old-timers subtly show the new guys the real way to get the job done, completely ignoring the official handbook. And then you've got workplace bravado, the classic macho culture. Sometimes taking a big risk is actually praised because it shows you're bold and skilled, while following the safety manual just makes you look like a slow worker bee. Toss in some indirect peer pressure and a management system that quietly pats you on the back for unsafe speed, and boom, you've built the perfect storm for a fatality. Just listen to this quote, straight from the front lines. The incentives are staring us right in the face. If skipping a tedious safety step means a guy gets to pack up and see his kids an hour earlier, or he gets paid for the whole job even if he finishes in half the time, well, human nature is going to push him toward that shortcut every single time. If we as leaders don't step back, empathize with, and actually address those real-world financial and time incentives, we're just putting Band-Aids on the problem. We will never fix the root cause. Section 4, rebuilding a safety mindset. So, the crucial point is, how do we actually fix this? We have to look at behavior-based safety. Here are 3 actionable strategies you can literally start using tomorrow. Number 1, build a culture of continuous challenge. Make it so normal and expected for anyone, even the newest apprentice, to question a procedure or flag a risk without getting yelled at. Number 2, cognitive reframing. We need to train our guys to catch themselves thinking, I'll just do this real quick, and immediately reframe it into a real, honest evaluation of the risk. And number 3, active mindfulness. We absolutely must find ways to snap our people out of that dangerous autopilot mode we talked about earlier. A really fantastic tool to force that active mindfulness is the SLAM method. It stands for Stop, Look, Assess, and Manage. By drilling SLAM into our veteran crews, we're giving them a tool to physically and mentally shatter that habituation cycle. It forces them to just stop. Take 1 second to look around and actively hunt for subtle changes in their environment. Is that pump vibrating weirdly? Is there a new slick spot on the walkway? It pulls them right out of unconscious competence and grounds them squarely back in the present moment. It's a real game changer. Finally, Section 5, the real safety culture. At the end of the day, our ultimate goal has to be this: moving away from a lazy, blame-oriented compliance mindset and shifting toward designing systems that actually anticipate human variability. And this brilliantly illustrates what true safety leadership is. It's accepting that human error is inevitable. People get tired. We know optimism bias is real. We know deviance gets normalized. So our job is to design incredibly resilient systems, both the physical gear and the site culture, to catch those totally human errors before anyone gets hurt. So, I want you to ask yourself a hard question. Are your site systems actually built for the messy, imperfect human beings who use them every day? If your procedures require a worker to be a flawless robot 100% of the time, and the whole thing falls apart the second a guy gets tired, stressed, or rushed, then your procedures are completely failing the psychology test. Let's wrap this up. Experience inevitably breeds habituation. You can't stop that human instinct, but you can constantly challenge the normal to stop deviance from creeping in. You can build resilient systems that expect human error, and by doing that, you proactively elevate your entire safety culture. The next time your absolute best, most experienced worker steps onto the floor, ask yourself, are they relying on their systems and skill to stay safe, or are they just relying on their luck? Like, share, and subscribe to HSC Study for more high-impact safety insights.